Hey guys, welcome to the next episode of Win32 C++ tutorial. In today's tutorial, we shall be adding controls to our window. The controls or widgets are commonly used to add a different interactivity to our windows, and such some controls are edit or button or etc. That lets the user to give some input or have some kind of interaction. I guess what I'm saying you can understand, and I'm extremely sorry guys for the bad condition of my throat. So without further delay, let's get started. So here is a very basic structure of how you can create a window. If you're following this tutorial, then this code might not seem very difficult to you. So let's just recall it. First, I am declaring a Unicode so that all my code is treated as a Unicode, and therefore we are using wht in place of normal char. And this is our winmain function, a very simple winmain function, and this is our Windows callback function to add functionality to our winmain. And these are some we are creating our Windows class, we are registering the class, and so on and so forth. Let's run this program and see what happens. And as you can see, we have this little window here. And first of all, let's just have our declaration of our global variables. So window name, and const window height equals to, let's say, 640, and let's have a window name here, and window width and window height. And that just work perfect. Okay, so here we have our window, and now we want to add a button to our window. Now before we add a button to our window, let's first understand how the Windows controls really work. So a window control is basically a child window to our main window or its parent window, and you can basically create a window child just by using this create window function here. And thanks to the windows.h, it gives us some pre-built Windows widgets or controls that we can use in our windows, such as a button or a text box or a combo box or etc etc. So first of all, we are going to add a button here, but you can just write the code of adding a button at the winmain and it will just work fine. But in real time working, we create our widgets in our Windows callback procedure function. But before that, we should have our global notations for controls. So let's call these control constants. So we have our control constants now. Let's add a control for our constant for our button. So define button 1, and let's call it and give it a value of okay, and don't keep this there. Now to create a control, we need to add another case in our Windows procedure. It's called wm create. So let's add the case wm create and then break. Now to create a window control, first of all we need a Windows pointer variable or a handle to a window. So hwnd button equals to create window. And we shall be using create window ex instead of create window, because create window ex gives us some more functionality than create window. Our main window is also being created by let me see, yes, create window ex. So we shall be continuing that legacy here. So first of all, we have to say that this is ex client edge, and you can just go to the online documentation and see through all these declaration, all these macros to find out what these things stands for. And the next parameter is the window class name. Now this thing is very important. Whenever you are trying to create a button that the windows.h provide us, we have to put the class name button here. So LBUTTON. And next we have to give a name to our button. Let's call it click me. Next we have to define how our button should look like, or what should be the style of our button. So for the style purpose of our button, I think it should be a child to our window first. All the child widgets must contain this, and it should be push button. So BS stands for button style push button, and it should be visible, so window style visible, and just add tab stop here. So window style tab stop. Okay, so now we have to define the dimensions of our button. So we want our button to be placed at 100 coordinate of our window, and our button will be 100 pixels tall and 50 pixels 100 pixels in width and 50 pixels in height. And then we have to give our the parent of our button, and here as you can see the HWND is the parent window, so we will pass that. And for the next argument, it is seeking for H menu number that it can assign the button with, and then in the different files it can keep the track of that button or give different functionalities to the button or so on. And we have already declared it here as btn1, so we shall be using we have to cast it to a H menu first, and just put get module handle, sorry, give me a sec. Get module handle null pointer, and for the last parameter let's keep it as null pointer here. And that should be it, and this should create a button in our window. So let's just check it out. And as you can see, here is a button called click me. You can add a different kind of widgets, like let's add a text box here. And let's copy this code here because I'm extremely lazy. And first of all, let's call this text box. And to create a text box, you have to add the class edit. Now our text box will be Windows child. Our text box should have a push button. No, it should not be button, so we will have to remove this, and we'll have to remove this too. And for edit controls we add es to do the style. So yes, okay, just give me a sec. Yes, multi-line is an option if you are willing to make your multi-line, or there are also other options, but just give these two options for now. And let's place this at 50, and let's say it's a 200 tall and 50. Now this will be located at 50 plus 200 is 250, so we shall locate this at 260, and this should be 50. And this should be let's keep this as default. Let's have it 70. So now if we run our program, so as you can see, we have our text box and it's a single line. So if you want it to work multi-line, then you can just add yes multi-line as I show you. And let's just trim this a little bit. So let's make it 25, and no, I think this is 50, correct. Let's make this 25, and let's make this 25, and let's make nothing here. Sorry, let's make nothing here. And I made a mistake. I used the buttons handler with the edit control, which you shouldn't do. You should use its own control, that is text box here, here. And as you can see, I have put a semicolon here, so it should now work perfectly as you intend. And as you can see, we can type something here, and we can click this button here and do something with this text. So now as you can see, we have this little setup here, and we just want to add some functionalities to our little program. First of all, I think I should make this 300, 200, let's make it 400, 300, 200, and that's looking good. So to add some functionality to our window, we need another class, that is another case wm command. Now you can just access the click event on a button just by giving the button ID a case. So let's try it out. So case btn1 and break. I think I should wrap this inside here. And for the click event of button 1, we want the text inside the text box to be retrieved and then be used to do something. For that purpose, we shall be using two very friendly Windows functions that we commonly used many times. One is get Windows text length and another is get dialog item text. But before that, we have to retrieve the dialog from the dialog ID. That is, we have to retrieve this edit control from this text box ID, and we can simply do it by using in hwnd sorry txt box equals to get dialog or dlg item, and it takes two parameters. First is the parent window, and here it is hwnd. This hwnd is passed here as a parameter to our callback function, and the next is the id of that dialog, and our id is text. Where is the id text box. So let's copy and paste it, and so we have our handle to our text box now, and you can use this process to retrieve any handle in whatever file you are and use it. Next thing is that we have to find the length of the text so that we can allocate that text inside the in a heap allocated array of characters. So to do that, we will use the text length retrieving function. So int length equals to get window text length, and just pass the handle to the control window, that is text box. Now we have the length, so we can let's verify if the length is greater than 0 or not. And if the length is greater than 0, then we want to allocate some memory. The register buffer, and then we can upload the text to that buffer by first we have to globally allocate it. So buffer equals global alloc, and it takes a flag that is gptr or global ptr, and then the size, and for our case the size will be len plus 1, and we have to cast this operator so that it remains as the same as the type of a buffer. So we'll just do this, and when we are done with our work we can just free it by calling global free, and that will do the trick. Now here we have to copy the text inside the buffer, and for that we will use get dlg item text function, which I mentioned earlier, and it takes the handle to the dialog, and here it is hwnd or the parent window. Next, the id of the control we are using, it's text box, so txt box txt box. Next is the buffer, so and the next thing is the max length, that is len plus 1, and this should work properly. I don't know. Oh, well, actually we don't need the handle but the integer only, so we will just pass the control name, that is text box here, and it will do the job. Now as we have the text so we can just use the message box to show that. So just copy this line here, and I'm so lazy while typing, so let's show the buffer here, and say you typed, sorry, and we don't need this icon. Let's run this program now, and I guess I made an error, so I have to check it once, and yeah, in this case is taking the full signal from this button, but we don't need the full signal for it, so we just need the lower of this parameter. So again, switch lower of wparam, and this should be the case should go here. No, this is reasonably correct, and let's add a default case, break. So let's run this program now, and it says okay, so this should go here. Okay, now we are perfect, so let's check it out. Okay, so we are done. What is this? Okay, so I just had to deal with some issues, and we just skip that if block. So the rest of the code looks like this. So we are taking the dialog handle to the dialog item, and from that handle we are retrieving the length of the text of that dialog. Then we are creating a buffer. We are allocating the memory space for the buffer, and then we are using the buffer to retrieve the text here with the function called get DLG item text, and then we are using the function called message box to show the text inside a message box. So let's run this program now. And let's type hi there, it's nice to see you. Now let's click, and as you can see it says hi there, it's nice to see you. So that's it for today, guys. You should, after this watching this video, you should go to the Microsoft official documentation and find out all the other controls and how you can use them and so on, and we shall discuss how we can use these controls in a more deeper way in the upcoming videos. So for till then, best of luck, and please subscribe this channel so that I can add more useful contents for you guys. Thank you very much.